Welcome to the Online Meditation Center. So, I received the question. There is this Hindu story that says all of life has already happened, and we just get to see the unfolding of it, like a painting that is a mile long and has a height of a 10-story building, which can't be seen all at once, but is already there. Yeah, and that's like playing a video game, right? Because the video game is already mapped out from beginning to end. Even if it's a so-called open world video game where you can go wherever you want and talk to whoever you want, it's still a limited set of possibilities of learning experiences and interactions that can be had. And so the entire experience from start to finish, no matter which branch you take, is already contained within that game. So even though we see it unfolding as we walk through the game and make choices, all of the choices is already, you could say, programmed into the experience. But we have the free will, you could say, to make those choices and choose the path we want to take, although it is already here. Everything is already here. All the movements I can make with my hands and fingers and body is already imprinted into this experience. But I choose how to move it, which version of the experience that I experience. And she continues on to say, I was reading Jed's books, which are quite funny. I think he is a Hindu too. He uses Mahabharata, Pashupatastra, Rahu and Ketu, etc., which only Hindus are obsessed about. Well, the way I know Jed is that he, to me, seems awake. Of course, I can't speak for Jed, and I'm not Jed, so I don't know, but you could say he says things that resonate with me, and he seems awake to me. And being awake means that you cannot be Hindu, you cannot be Christian, you cannot be a Buddhist, you cannot be a Muslim, you cannot be any religion at all. Because being awake is knowing, seeing that you are everything. Anything that is experienced here is only a mind hallucination, a dream going on inside of your mind. There is no other. There is only one. And so any direction of thought or philosophy or religion that has spawned inside of this dream is just one perspective being held by dream characters in your dream. You could never limit yourself again to be contained within a limited set of beliefs about this reality when you know beyond any shadow of a doubt that you are the reality itself. And so Jed is not a Hindu, but he is well read, and he uses pieces of everything that he has read to explain things that he has realized. And of course, Hinduism has one of the most complex understandings of reality and the bigger reality, of the spiritual reality, if you will, of all the religions. They have probably some of the longest traditions in, becoming enlightened and going deep within existence. And so they have developed a really complex system of concepts that describe and explain big variation of functions and mechanisms that, you know, drive this machinery that is existence. And so it's optimal often, if you know those concepts, to use them in order to pinpoint what you are talking about, which is most likely what Jed is doing. He's not actually a Hindu, he's just utilizing the concepts because they are useful. Anyway, I was reading Jed's books, but in one of them he keeps on talking about co-creation, which makes no sense. Seems arrogant for an appearance, actually a part of an appearance, to even think in those terms. And this is an interesting point, because yes, from the perspective of an appearance, this body, talking about co-creation does seem arrogant. But the point is, you are viewing this from the perspective of identifying yourself as an appearance. And so being identified with an appearance, reading someone else talking about co-creation, seems like arrogance because you automatically put your own identification as an appearance onto them, thinking that they are identifying with an appearance when they are speaking about co-creation. But Jed, being awake, he's not talking from the perspective of an appearance. He's talking from the perspective of source. And I would go as far to, now I don't think I've read perhaps this book that you are talking about here. I've read the main trilogy many years ago. I don't remember him talking about co-creation, but who knows. But I would go as far as say there is not even co-creation, because co means one and two or more. I would say there is only creation. There is only this right now. Existence is here. Fundamentally speaking, there is no observer and observed, because the observer is the observed. The creator is the creation. It's two sides of the same coin. Except there is no coin and there are no sides. There is only this. And what's more to the point, which I always have to go back to, is that all of this, the Hindu stories, the Buddhist stories, all these stories by other people, what are they? Thoughts in the mind. And what are thoughts in the mind? Mental sounds. The rumblings of emotions, perhaps. Images in the mind. They are all thoughts. All stories are thoughts. And intellectual inquiring minds like yours get lost in this internal loop of questions, of needing to find just the answer to those most important questions. But it's not actually the answer to these questions that you are seeking. You are spinning your wheels because you are actually trying to stop spinning your wheels. You might think you have stopped spinning them, but all these questions that are spawning means you are still within this loop. mind loop. Let them go. Stay here. Stay here with the chirping of the birds. Stay here with your breath. Experience reality intimately. No labels, no ideas. All these books behind here, now these are fiction, so it's only fiction, but even if those books were the most sacred spiritual texts, as soon as they transfer from someone's direct experience and into words, they become pure fiction. Every word I speak is pure fiction. It's not reality. So when the Hindu story is saying that all of life has already happened, that comes from the perspective of someone who had an aha experience and tried to explain it. And as soon as it has been put into words, it's open to be believed by those who are not seeing it and misinterpreted, and you will be led astray. The only way to actually realize the truth of that statement that life has already happened, which is meaningless because it's here now, is by removing the belief in it, removing the thoughts about it, and existing here. Now. This is it. And when someone is talking about co-creation or creation or no creation, what does that even mean once you remove the ideas about it from your mind? And you're simply here. Simply existing in this unknowableness of what this is. Right? So drop it all. Whatever the answer to all of these questions may be, it won't add even one thing to what you are or the experience of this life. Because it's all happening inside your mind. There's the sounds of a question, and there's the sound of the answer. And as soon as those sounds end, you're still here. So relax and be here.